Thank you, Howard. Yes, I'm with Eric Lau, meteorologist here at the Central Pacific Hurricane Center, headquartered at the National Weather Service in Manoa. Give me your impressions of this latest update.
With the 11 p.m. update, not much has changed. Lane continues that forward movement towards the north at about 6 miles per hour, so that slow movement northward, we're going to continue to see the rain spread across the islands and the Hilo side of the Big Island. We're hearing reports of the Wailuku River up to about 24 feet now. So definitely flooding concerns along the eastern side of the Big Island has been extreme. We're looking for all that moisture to continue spreading up towards the islands as Lane continues marching forward.
And that slow motion is the worst thing that we can hear when it comes to rain, because it just lets it pile up and over the saturated land. I have received some questions from viewers about when the heavy rain will be arriving on the other islands, Honolulu, Molokai, Kauai.
Right, so we can expect that moisture to continue streaming up to the northwest towards Maui County and Oahu, especially as Lane continues its forward motion towards the north. More of the moisture and precipitation will start spreading over there. We were already seeing some heavy precipitation over Maui County and Oahu, so we can continue to expect that to continue on through tonight and through to Friday.
Okay, and then let's talk about the wind a little bit. Are you surprised it didn't weaken further?
It's been maintaining its strength. Forecasters are looking at all available data, so the circulation still remains there, and we're looking at intensity still within 120 miles per hour. So the sea surface temperatures are still warm, and we're still looking at some shear impacting the system. So we do continue to potentially see that gradual weakening over the next 24 to 48 hours.
Okay, even though we didn't see it in this last 3 hours, we were hoping that the shear was strong enough. Does this mean the shear is not strong enough, or it's just a waiting game for it to really kick in?
Right, it's just a waiting game right now because it's so slow moving. We're going to be watching Lane as it approaches north ever so slowly to eventually make its way towards that region of higher shear, so that we can start to see that gradual weakening.
And we were talking about the cone of uncertainty and how it has shifted a little bit to include parts of the islands now, but that's just the nature of the cone of uncertainty.
Right. Lane can still be within that cone, anywhere within the cone over the next 3 days. So that cone of uncertainty is there to allow people to really understand that we're really not out of the woods yet. Potentially we could still see Lane move closer to the islands, and if it does, we still could see the potential for tropical storm force winds, which can be damaging, further rainfall, and also more high surf.
Okay, let's talk about that surf for a minute, because you were telling me that the surf is high now, but it could get even higher, or it likely will.
Right, so we talk about high surf approaching the southern shores. The slow movement of Lane just allows all that wind to really pile the water up. So with that, it kind of increases the swell, and all that water gets pushed up towards the southern shore. So, we can expect breaking waves along south-facing shores up to 20 feet, and that brings the possibilities of coastal inundation, wave run-up over roads that are close to the water. So, people in those low-lying areas and coastal areas could be prepared for coastal inundation and coastal erosion.
And that's another result of it moving north as opposed to moving away from some of the shores. It's just there, and it's in fact getting closer, and it will just keep building up that water.
Right, so it's just going to build up that water. So we're really watching Lane as it approaches north at, slowly at 6 miles per hour. A lot of people are looking at the track and wondering, when's it going to turn west? When's it going to turn west? That all depends on the amount of shear. So the shear impacting on the system, we're going to be watching that as shear really helps to weaken the system. And if it's weakened enough, the lower levels of the circulation can start moving west with the trade wind flow. But how fast that shear takes to weaken Lane and how much it's going to weaken Lane is really going to dictate how the track forecast is going to be going forward.
And that brings up one other viewer question was, why is it forecast to make such a sharp turn to the west? What would cause that as opposed to it slowly having a more gradual curve to the west?
Right, so it continues to move north. So, that the northern motion towards the north that Hurricane Lane is experiencing, we can't just, see that sharp turn to the left. So we're going to watch that system have that shear break it apart, so then it can, the lower levels of the circulation, or what's left of it potentially, would be riding along the trade wind flow. So you can kind of see that sharper turn. Potentially.
You'd have to have pretty strong shear then during this time period for it to suddenly turn that way. And I'm assuming the forecasters have all that information that would indicate it would be strong enough to do that?
Right, but that's where the uncertainty lies, We're continuing to monitor that shear, so like I said earlier, how much the shear plays into a factor for the weakening and how fast it weakens and how much it weakens will really dictate the turn it makes that we're all expecting.
And there was one question about when would you be 80% sure that it's going to make the curve? Well, the answer was you'll be 80% sure when it starts to turn.
Right, exactly. It's really hard to say right now exactly when it's going to start turning. So, so everyone, we just need to really pay attention to the forecast, be vigilant. Really, it doesn't really matter where this track goes. It's in close enough proximity that we're going to feel impacts from Lane. So we all need to be prepared for that flooding rain, the heavy rainfall potential, the life-threatening flash flooding, the potential for damaging winds as Lane gets closer, and the high surf along southern-facing shores and the coastal erosions and coastal run-up. So that triple threat is still there, so we all really need to remain vigilant.
And take it very seriously. Thank you very much, Eric Lau, meteorologist here at the Central Pacific Hurricane Center. Hurricane Lane still a Category 3, 120-mile-per-hour sustained winds. Back to you, Howard.